heard from some family caregivers that finding a family doctor who specializes in geriatric care can be a challenging and kind of a nerve-wracking experience. Do you have any advice? We're obviously looking at things a bit through an Ontario lens, but on the types of resources that some of these caregivers can go to try to ensure that they're finding the right expert to handle, in particular, a parent's care.
So that's a challenge because the words sort of family doctor, general practitioner are in complete at the other end from a specialist who specializes in geriatrics. There are less than 1,000 geriatricians across the country. It's a really underserved profession. Most family doctors should have a fair bit of expertise in healthy aging because we know almost a quarter of the population is older. So by virtue, their rosters are going to be mostly older adults. We know also that it's very difficult to be moving around your physicians. So the first step, if you do not have primary care and you're not connected with primary care, would be to consider using Healthcare Connect. And if you go on to healthcareconnect.on.ca, you can register there and they will help you get connected with a family doctor. And you can put in some of your concerns and they will help match you appropriately. The one thing I would say to be conscious of is if you are already connected with a practice, you will have to de-enroll from that practice before they will help you. So that's a caveat. It's about taking some responsibility and educating yourself about the aging process and knowing that a lot of the aging experience, what we're finding is it's intermeshed. So you might go to the doctor, for example, because you're falling all the time. But what's really happening is the doctor prescribed a diuretic and now you got to pee all the time and you're running to the bathroom and now you're falling. And I know it's frustrating for people. They go in and a lot of doctors will say, one problem, and we do one problem at a time. So do you want to talk about the fall or do you want to talk about the diuretic? One of the two, if you've even made that connection. It can be really, really challenging. Unfortunately, I don't think in Ontario, at least, there is a magic bullet. You can ask for a referral to a geriatrician. And I think as we see older adults having multiple comorbidities, so they've got more than one problem, like arthritis, hypertension, diabetes. Once you're into, a few serious concerns that you're managing and levers that you're pulling, I think it's never a bad idea to have a conversation as the caregiver in partnership with your care recipient. Like, is it time to see a geriatrician? Knowing you're going to wait, but getting that process started, that ball started early, so that maybe that becomes you're having an annual checkup with a geriatrician, because they're going to take a little bit longer. They appreciate the intersectionality of a lot of those medications, and those teams, they work in teams that are wrapped around with geriatric outreach, social work, occupational therapy. They have a really good pharmacist, often nurse practitioners. So it's about that. But let's talk about preparing a little bit for seeing your family doctor right now. And those are turning into virtual appointments. So I don't know if you've had some experience with this, but I have because I've got these kids who are always in trouble. So what I found, the first time it just totally threw me, it caught me off. I realized I'd never spoke to my doctor on the phone before. But what I would recommend is, at least what I have found to be extremely helpful, is I already have some notes prepared. So I go in prepared. If it's, let me give you an example of a rash. Have some photos already done. Perhaps speak to whoever answers the phone at your doctor's office. see if there's a secure way to send those photos if possible. So, because not all the physicians are doing FaceTime chats, Zoom chats, because of the security. So I always try and send through any photos ahead of time if I think that it's something that they need to lay eyes on. Otherwise, I have a list of symptoms, height, weight, all the current weights, all those things. They're going to need that for prescribing, no matter how old you are. And I'm ready to go with sort of what the day-to-day has been like. Like if you have, you want to talk to the doctor because you've noticed, say, an increase in behaviors or sundowning has got worse, for example, make sure that you can provide some good context, like have some examples, have the notes, because we often freeze when we're on the phone. And that's the problem in the phone call, that you want it to take, 10, 15 minutes is all done in 3 minutes. And you're like, but I had all this to say. So just make sure you jot down a few things. It makes it's very helpful. At least I have found that. And again, take the photos, make sure you've got all of that done ahead of time. And if you have specific questions, note them beforehand, but also see if you can send them ahead of time, because that gives them a head start about what you want to talk about, but B, to prepare.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to take our quick survey to give us your feedback. Find the link in the video description below.